Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. When I last left you guys, we were in the middle of adequately defending ourselves from this onslaught of dudes coming from all these different directions. And we were also in the middle of trapping this poor sucker archer here because he's got something valuable that I want. So unfortunately, Rennick is actually full of stuff, so we're going to go ahead and take that off his hands real quick, since Mur doesn't need to use it anyway. And then we'll go ahead and swipey-swipe this here goddess icon. Now, I am a little bit concerned for my team down here, considering there's only 5 of them. Really only 4, because Mulder I don't want to put right in the front lines, because he's only at 3 luck and he's going to get crit to death, so... we're going to probably send some reinforcements that way. Generally speaking, in the form of Mr. Franz here. He's not doing anything else. So we'll send him down that direction to kind of support, and we'll put Nami up here to, I guess, be like a little bit of a scout, so to speak. Maybe poke at some dudes that are up in the way here that don't need to be. And then we'll have Loot Thunderbolt this poor sod to death, because that's all it takes is one silly Thunderbolt with Loot. So, I don't know if I've mentioned it just yet, but I love defense maps in Fire Emblem. Not just in Fire Emblem, but in any tactics-based game, RTSs, anything requiring you to hunker down and protect yourself and form defensive lines, that kind of deal. I love that. It is absolutely an absolute blast, in my opinion, and I'm an absolute major fan and advocate of it. So this one being so late in the game means it's going to be particularly challenging, too, and I like that a lot. Certainly in cases like, for example, I'm a big fan of the old StarCraft, and I loved having to do defense maps in that game. In fact, the first time I ever played it, I was like 11 or 12, I think. I know it's dating me even more now. But very early on in that game, in fact, I think it's like Chapter 3 of the Terran campaign, you have a defense map that you have to hold on, you have to hold out for half an hour against this non-stop onslaught of these Zerg monsters that are coming that you've never seen before. And you're like, well, crap, this is going to be fun. I remember the first time I did it, here's the thing, it's an intro-level map, right? So it's not meant to be especially difficult, but I had a tendency back then to overbuild and overcompensate for everything. Uh-oh. Oh, good, he dodged it. The last thing I need is Ephraim getting whacked by axes here. Anyway, I have a tendency to overbuild my defenses in a lot of cases. Less so in stuff like Fire Emblem, simply because you don't have the ability to overbuild. You're very limited with what units you get. You can't just kind of make more. Certainly. Oh, good, he landed a steel axe hit on that guy. That's cool. So you're stuck with what you get, and you have to make the most of what you get in these games, which I think is more fun. Whereas in stuff like StarCraft, RTSs like that, you can kind of build as many structures and units as you want to protect yourself, which is cool. But I do like the concept of, here's this onslaught of dudes that are not going to stop, and here's what you get, make it work. Like, protect yourself, protect whatever valuable thing you're protecting, whether it's a structure or a person or just because you want to survive. I'm very fond of that style of play. Not just, as I said, in tactics games, but in any game. So what I'm trying to say is I love defense maps, and that's why I love, I think, really tanky and defensive units like Gilliam so much, because they really, really shine in these kinds of maps. Ow. Okay, that hurt. Let's hope he doesn't get hit by another one of those. But yeah, certainly people like Gilliam are especially useful on maps like this, because I don't need to worry about Gilliam's movement only being 5. I can just leave him right where he needs to be. And come on. I can leave him right where he needs to be, and he can just utterly decimate everything that comes after him without any problems whatsoever. Ephraim, you need to start dodging, pal. You're down to 8 hit points. And I know there's more Mage Knights lurking in the shadows there. The last thing I need is Ephraim to get taken out by a random Elfire Tome. Which, let's be honest, it could happen, and it probably will, knowing my luck. And in fact, here comes one right now. Although, thankfully, he won't kill me if he hits me. And he didn't. Good. You'll notice a weird little glitch about Ephraim's sprite, too. You see how when he's being attacked at distance there, he appeared to have a javelin equipped? When he doesn't, he's got a steel... Oh, good lord. He's got a Steel Lance equipped, but when he's being attacked at range, the game will program his sprite to have a ranged weapon equipped. I don't know why that is. And it's the same thing when he's attacking at melee. Come on, really? Oh, alright. It's the same deal when he's attacking at melee with a ranged weapon like a javelin. He survived with 1 hit point. What a beast. That being said, we are definitely going to be healing up Mr. Ephraim right now before I forget. We don't need to worry about that anymore. So let's top him off with Mr. Molder here. He's down by 36. What's Molder's magic? 17. Perfect. Amend will do just fine. Get that taken care of here. So yeah, I don't know what the deal with Ephraim's sprite is there. Whenever he's in melee, he has that big-looking imposing spear sprite. When he's being attacked at distance, he has the slightly flimsier-looking javelin, regardless of what weapon he's holding. Whether it's one that he can throw or not. I don't know, again, I don't know why that is, but I guess that's just what the designers decided to go with. So, at any rate, we'll take out this here ranger, what almost killed him. Really, well, I was going to say, really I should be attacking the guys that did damage to him, but he killed them all, so... More strength, skill, speed, and defense. Perfect. I think he's 1 point off from capping speed. In fact, he just capped skill. Yeah, look at that. 1 more point of speed, and he'll have capped that. Utterly ridiculous. Ephraim is a monster. His strength's a little lower than I'd like it to be. I think it caps out at 27. He's got plenty of time to do that. He probably won't before the game is over, but that's okay. His con is his only downside, I think. He's only got 10 con, and he's still being weighed down by 3 by a Steel Lance, so... Speaking of, why don't we go ahead and... Who else is in need of healing? Anybody? Gilliam's only down by 7. He's fine. We will send... Let's send Ross into the fray. He hasn't anything to beat on in a while. Have him take out this Mage Knight here. Why don't I use the Battle Axe? That way I get a 1-hit kill instead of worrying about a retaliatory Hellfire. Ross does not like magic attacks very much, considering his resistance is not anywhere near what it should be. And then we'll have Erica run in here. Actually, she can support with her brother. Why don't we do that? And I don't think using the support will negate her action for the turn. Actually, you know what? I think it does in this game. In later ones, it doesn't. But just to be on the safe side, I'll wait to do it when we're not in the middle of... Actually, she's not a good contender for that Paladin anyway. Why don't I just send Gilliam out here to do it? Gilliam doesn't double this guy unless we use the Brave Lance. I guess now is as good a time as any. The nice thing about the Brave weapons, too, is not only does it grant a second attack for units that otherwise wouldn't be able to, but they're consecutive attacks. So your opponent does not get a chance to counter. And the funny thing is, if you would double with a Brave weapon, you actually get 4 attacks, which is ridiculously cool. A little over the top in some instances, maybe, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. And that'll be a crit from a Rapier onto that Swordmaster. Perfect. Yeah, we're definitely going to want some reinforcements going on, so I'm getting Franz down here as quickly as I can. In fact, I can probably get him into the fray the very next turn if I just dance with Tethys here. Or I could have Tethys dance for Ephraim so we can clean up some more dudes. I think I like that idea better, so why don't we do that? I'm just going to put Ephraim right on the edge here and have him decimate this silly ranger. Now that he's back to full health, I'm a little more confident in his ability to survive things. You saw he dodged plenty of times, obviously, otherwise he'd be dead right now. But he can take a hit when he needs to. That's the nice thing about Ephraim, is his defense is freaking ridiculous. He's actually got more than... No, not quite as much as Gilliam, but almost. Erica does not quite anywhere near that, but Franz is up there too. He's got, what, 20? Yeah, he'll be fine. But that being said, we are going to send La Rochelle down this way just because we don't need anybody over on that right side. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of enemy units coming our way from there. So we will leave La Rochelle on station. We don't need Rennick up here anymore. Certainly nothing to steal, so we'll move him out of the way. Let's see if Nami can deal with this enemy sniper. She certainly can. Let's have her do that. Need to give her some experience where she can get it. She's my only bow user, really. I don't have anybody else that's even capable of using them. I don't think that's a decent level. I guess an argument can be made that I could be using Innis if I wanted to, but I don't really know if I want to this late in the game, so at any rate, let's go ahead and I can't quite reach loot to heal her, but that's okay. Or Namie, rather. What did I just say? I said loot, didn't I? We'll just park the usual suspects right here and let enemies come to us if necessary. I don't think we're going to be experiencing anything in the way of longbows from snipers. I mean, it's possible, but I doubt it. Let's wreck this poor sap. You don't need any thieves getting into my treasure room. That's certainly the case. What I'm actually going to do with Tana here is get Rennick ferried over to those treasure chests quicker, just because I need to get over there with enough time for him to open all 3 of those chests. And we're only down to... We're going to be down to half the time left, and he's not anywhere near there yet, so... What I might end up actually doing is having Mulder warp him over there. Or warp him closer, I should say. He's not going to be able to have enough range to get him there immediately, but... And here we have another silver axe going for Ephraim that he dodges. So I talked a lot about me playing defensive maps on RTSs and things. I am a big RTS fan. I'm going to be honest, though. I'm not especially great at them. Well, I am and I'm not. So here's the thing. I love StarCraft a lot. I played the snot out of it when I was a kid. I played StarCraft 2 as soon as it came out. I pre-ordered it. I have like the collector's edition for Wings of Liberty, that kind of deal. And I've beaten the hard mode campaign and have all of the achievements in it. So, I mean, I'm not bad at the game, in theory. However, when it comes to playing against other players, I'm just dreadful. I'm not any good in PvP. When it comes to RTS, and that's any RTS. That's StarCraft, that's Warcraft, that's Age of Empires, that's anything. Because, unfortunately, I'm the kind of person that is very methodical with my decision making. I like to take the time to plan things out, devise an optimal strategy. I'm not a quick thinker. I'm an in-depth thinker. I'm not going to say I'm a slow thinker either. I can make decisions on the fly if I have to, but I prefer not to. I like to take the time and measure my choices, measure my options, and go with the best one. So when it comes to things like Civilization, which is a turn-based strategy game, I'm very good at that game. In both PvP and against, computerized settings. But that's because you can take all the time you want to make up your mind in those games. Whereas in RTSs, you're on the clock, and speed is everything. In your ability to quickly manage your army, quickly erect structures, quickly get everybody together. I'm not very good at that. I can't do it very well, and I don't enjoy it, certainly, when you're running against the clock like that. That's the same reason why I don't like timed missions in a lot of games. I don't like being put on a clock. And that's the nice thing about these kind of games is you're not on a clock. I mean, you're on a clock in some senses like, oh, I have a certain number of turns to do that. Well, that's not really a time limit. That's just, you've got to finish your objective and you have this many opportunities to do it. And 99 times out of 100, I can plan it out just fine and have no issues. Some of them are a little more difficult than others, but I, generally speaking, will have no trouble figuring out a plan to do exactly what I want within my turn constraints. But when you're on an actual clock, it's a much different story, and my brain just can't quite, I guess I'm not going to say I can't handle it, because I can if I really, really need to, but I don't enjoy it. I don't derive enjoyment from being put on time constraints in games. In real life, too, honestly. I'm not a big fan of, you have 20 minutes to finish this project, go. It's like, what? No, it's not that I don't work well under pressure, either. It's just, I need to have time to think. That's just the kind of person that I am, so... Sorry about ranting about that for so long, but... if you ever have the misfortune of playing against me in an RTS, you will understand why I don't do a lot of the same strategies that a lot of the pros will do, because, well, A, I'm not that good, and B, I don't enjoy playing that way. I just don't. So, let's go ahead and get Rennick moved over a little further. There is that silly thief over there who broke into a treasure chamber with nothing in it. He must have been really sad when he opened that door and been like, what? Hey, what? Like, he was probably a little salty, let's be honest. So we will have, in fact, what I could probably do. We'll just warp Rennick this way some more. Probably didn't need to bring Tana all the way over here to pick him up when I could have just teleported him over there, but, I mean, it is what it is. Alright, so now Franz is here. We can have him help out in the defensive department. But right now we've got a mess of dudes to contend with, and why don't we get to doing that? So Ross is a little worn down. We'll go ahead and heal him up real quick. I suppose I should actually talk about the game that I'm playing and not other ones that have nothing to do with this, but, I mean, it's a conversation along the same vein, right? This is all stream of consciousness. I'm not editing all this after the fact. I'm not cutting content, that kind of a deal, so I'm trying to think of how best to deal with this situation here. I have 4 combat units and 5 dudes with which to kill. Why don't we send Franz down here just to hold that line so Tethys doesn't get run around and beaten up. Garrick is still in position down there. That's good. These guys are all set up here. We just got to deal with this mess. All right. So I like the idea of Ephraim being over this side, and as well as Gilliam. So why don't we send Gilliam over here as is tradition. He can contend with this here Great Knight. That's no big deal. What I would probably need to do in certain circumstances is have La Rochelle be actively a combatant, because she's so hard to hit. Like, her luck is through the roof, her speed is through the roof, and she's not slowed down by her weapon, and she's mounted, so it's like, good luck. Get at me. Ooh, Gilliam D rank in swords? Yes, please. That's going to be iron blades for him in the very near future, which I am absolutely a fan of. Why don't we decimate this poor sod here? I don't want to use Sigmund just yet. The time will come for that, but it is not right this minute. Alright, so hopefully we can get these guys mopped up and pushed back to the point where I can form 2 little mini walls off to the left and right on the staircases here. And that will allow us to better protect, I guess, our front lines here, so to speak. Now I can't see over... There's a guy standing right here. So I can't move right here to attack that Mage Knight. That is unfortunate. But I can still whip a hand axe at his face. Although, that's problematic. Why don't we just have Erica take him out in a single rapier hit? I think all my people are adequately healed up and protected enough that they're not going to die immediately. Oh, there wasn't a guy standing there. He was over one more space. That's alright. Alright, Ross, do your thing, bro. In fact, why don't I put him right here? And we'll just wreck this poor ranger, I guess. Now, Ross should be okay, even if he gets hit a few times. I say that now. Unfortunately, every time I try to predict that kind of stuff, people end up dying in the process, and that's never any fun. Maybe some of them will be stupid and go for La Rochelle because she's weak, even though she's not. She just looks like she is. And this poor here... Actually, he is not going to get critical for once. Joshua, for once, did not critical somebody to death as a swordmaster. And he's leaving him right in range of Nami to pick off, which is great. Cormac not impressed with these Silver Axe heroes. I just noticed... Well, it's not that I just noticed. I noticed a while ago. But the actual soldier sprite on the Wyvern Lord is wearing like a full-face helm with the visor up. It looks really cool. It's a shame that the detail on these... I mean, the detail on the sprites is fantastic for the limitations of the medium, don't get me wrong. I love how good these animations are on this particular game, on the console that they're on. But imagine if they were like on a more detailed medium where they could put some more character into the models. Oh, that'd be so cool. It's like, especially with Erica and Ephraim, right? Because they're custom. They're unique units that only one of them exists. They certainly could have made Ephraim's horse animation better, which I'm still a little salty about. Probably shouldn't be at this point, but... Oh wow, a Silver Lance Great Knight that I can't one-shot. See, if I had an Iron Blade, this wouldn't have been a problem, because I'd have like 4 or 5 more power behind it. I think at least 4. Ephraim's still laughing at these Swordmaster's attempts to kill him. He's probably going to need a Hammern on that Regan Life. If you've seen the Hammern Staff in my inventory, you don't know what it is. The Hammern Staff is... an item that allows you to repair other items. And I say items, I mean weapons. I think it's the only thing that works on it. I think you can use it on other stabs, too. I'm not positive. I don't think I've ever actually done it, though. But you can definitely repair weapons with it. And the best candidates for weapons to repair are legendary ones that you've worn down, because they generally don't have a whole lot of uses for some strange reason. But also, Ephraim and Erica's signature weapons, so the Rapier and the Regan Life, are great candidates for that, too. Because they're so versatile, and they're incredibly valuable, even later into the game. When you might not think their power would be quite enough, but they're on par with a steel weapon of that type. A rapier is about as good as a steel sword, but it's lighter, it's good against cavalry and against armor. It's the same thing with the Regan Life. It's perfect. So having those late in the game, as you can see right now, is incredibly valuable, and this thief is trying to attack my dancer. What a jerk. As if being a thief wasn't bad enough. I was going to try to beat up my poor defenseless dancer. Like, come on. Give me a break. Alright, I think we can get Rennick in there in time. I'm hoping so, at any rate. Actually, can he wrap around right here? Yeah, he can, so... Turn 9, he'll be there. Turn 10, he cracks that open. Turn 11, he cracks open. Turn 12, he cracks that. Yeah, we're good. We are solid. Alright, so... We've got Franz here as some extra reinforcement that I'm going to put to good use. His resistance is abysmal, however, so we're going to hopefully avoid him fighting any Mage Knights. Ideally by skewering them through the face before they have a chance to hurt him. And honestly, I probably should have put him on the right side with the other Great Knights, instead of on the side with all the Mage Knights on it. But I guess you do what you gotta do. Speaking of Mage Knights, we'll have Ross one up and beat that one to death. I think I'm going to switch Franz to a different weapon, so he can counter adequately at distance, because right now he can't. Oh, more speed. Perfect. This is the one problem I have with Ross, is that as a Berserker, he's a little on the slow side, which isn't good for him. We'll put Erica right here. I will trade away so Franz gets... Let's give him the hand axe. And then I will decimate this ranger in a single blow with my rapier. Maybe now the mage guys will go for her because she can't counter at distance, and she's a main character. But she's so dodgy, and she's actually got halfway decent resistance. She'll be fine. Her defense is going up too, which is good. And her strength, perfect. I like that. She's not quite near capping out anything just yet, unlike her brother, who I think has already capped 2 stats. Yeah, he's capped skill and speed already. And he's very close to capping defense. His strength, I think, caps at 27, so he's got a little way to go on that, but we'll get there. At any rate, let's have Ephraim finish off this here Great Knight by smiting him in the face, as we do. And that'll be level 9 for Ephraim. 22 strength, 21 luck. Nice. He's going to be perfect endgame potential, which is good because we have to bring him anyway. I think we'll give him his Javelin, and I'm going to give Gilliam the Brave Lance to use. Just in case more Swordmasters show up, which they're most likely going to. Ross is a little on the hurt side. Why don't we get him topped off here? And I'm going to attack this silly little thief with Molder, who had the... I'm not going to say prescience, the foolhardiness to attack my dancer while she's defenseless. And we'll just dance for Molder so he can finish off that silly thief. Level up for Tethys in the process. More speed, luck, and res. I like it. Yeah, get out of here, dude. Oh, really? Light magic missed? That never happens. On an 89%, no less. Alright, we'll have La Rochelle heal up Ross just in case more mages get at him. And they might attack her too, but that's fine. She will not get hit. And if she does, it won't be very high. She's actually got incredibly good defense for Valkyrie. 13? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't think I've ever seen her defense that high at max level, let alone this low into her promotion. She certainly got some very good level ups in that regard. She started out with, like, what, 3 or 4, I think? Something to that effect. It wasn't very high to begin with. Alright, we're going to slowly creep our units out into the... Oh, look at that. Perfect. We're going to creep them out into the hallway here, or out into the courtyard, rather, so we can lay waste to them before they get in the door. Although I will say, having Namie get some extra experience is a good idea, so we might not want to push too much farther out. In fact, I'll probably pull back just because I need a good bow unit for the end game, and Namie's all I got. So, single hit from Iron Blade takes this poor sniper down. Now we're outside, mostly. You can see Cormac is still on some paving stones there. On a staircase. We'll have Myrrh hang out just behind them here. And what do I got left? Is that it? Oh, Garrick's still there. That's right. Well, he'll just guard the treasure room, I guess. Continue to guard the treasure room. Once again, trying to attack my poor defenseless dancer and failing miserably. Cormac's going to do some mopping up of these silly heroes here. So I've got a few more turns before the defense is over, and it's going to be a little long, so we'll probably run this episode longer than it needs to just to finish it up. I don't want to make it a three-parter. There's no reason to. And now that we've got all of our characters into position, turns are going to go a little quicker, ideally speaking. I don't need to worry about running Rennick around and getting him to steal stuff and open chests and whatnot, so... Now it's really just going to be a situation where everybody's going to be throwing themselves at us and dying miserably in the process, which is what happens when you go up against a mighty army like mine. Ross thankfully dodging all these Silver Axe hits. His defense is not what it should be either, but then again, he's also not wearing any armor on his body where it should be. He's got one on his arm and he's got a helmet on. That's about it. He's like a gladiator of old in Roman times, so to speak, which I guess is what they modeled it after. Kind of makes sense when you think about it. And Ephraim with his capped speed is going to double Swordmasters, which is pretty hilarious, considering he's really good at killing them. And probably, I guess they're going to go for Gilliam too. But now they like going for Gilliam because he's got a lance and not a sword anymore. But joke's on them, because Brave Lance ruins their day. And I'm pretty sure he's fast enough to double those Great Knights, even without the Brave Lance, so that would have been really funny. Now he'll definitely double this guy. He doesn't need to, he only needs to land one single hit on him. And down he goes. Who's next? More paladins, you say. Well, that's fine. Get at me. The only concern I have, really, is that my weapons might be running out from slaughtering all these dudes that are coming at me, but you know what? There are worse problems to have. I mean, I've got a decent chunk of money, so look at that. More defenses and some skill. Nice. I will take it. Here comes the Mage Knights. Seriously, they're so boring. Why would you want to play a freaking Mage Knight? Like, at least they made them cool in, like, Awakening. They're called Dark Knights in Awakening. I know, right? But not only are they mounted magic users, but they also get swords. So they're, like, magic rangers, and they look really freaking cool. Oh, geez, those are generals. Good thing we have Garrick here to mess them up with a hammer, no less. I'm not even sure why I gave him that. I just think, you know what, maybe he can make use of a hammer. That'll be fun, and sure enough, there's a great time to use it right there. Now, I remember that there was going to be reinforcements from that side, but I didn't think they were going to be freaking generals. I thought maybe like some warriors or something, but we'll have Tana pierce this other one, ideally speaking. She can probably critical him into death. I don't need this general harassing Rennick while he goes for treasure. Especially because a silver lance from a general is not going to feel very good for Rennick. In fact, that might do him in, so let's make sure we take him out before that happens. And before those pathetic green units get in the way. Alright, so let's finish off this silly thief that won't leave Tethys alone. Actually got him that time, that's the important thing, I guess. Wow, luck and res for Molder. I will take it. I will absolutely take it. Alright, we're going to leave Namie right here. And I am going to pull back my forces just a little bit. We'll get Myrrh out of the way. And we'll get Cormag out here. And Loot will be right behind them, just in case one of them needs to be healed. In fact, why don't we top off Cormag just in case? Get some staff experience for Loot while we're at it. Never a bad thing. She's not going to be in the range of, like, B rank by the time the endgame comes, unfortunately. But that's okay. I guess Gilliam's a little bit messed up. We'll get him topped off real quick. Probably could do that for Ross too, I imagine. Just to be on the safe side. I don't want anybody getting taken out by a stray magic bolt or an arrow or some nonsense, so it's the last thing you want in this situation, especially when you're this far into the turns. You just don't need any stray hits killing people at the last second. So we'll top off Ross too while we're at it. Thankfully, I'm not concerned about La Rochelle being randomly attacked by anything anymore, now that she can defend herself and she's not going to get hit. So why don't we send Ross out here to mess up this particular dude. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Riev himself is out here somewhere. I got to be careful of that. He is very potent, and I don't want to run into him on accident. Yep, there he is right there, actually. The last of Grotto's generals. As soon as he dies, the enemy's reinforcements stop spawning, and I don't want that to happen just yet. I guess he's not that threatening. His magic's only 14. He does have Aura, though, which is the strongest light magic in the game. And it does weigh him down considerably, so that 19 speed is actually somewhere more along the lines of 11. So just about anybody will be able to double him, no problem. Let's go ahead and take out that ranger. Or not, as the case may be, apparently, because I missed with my hand axe. Twice? Okay, I'm a little salty about that, not gonna lie. Oh well, it is what it is. I can't trade away Ross to get a hand axe just yet, unfortunately. That's okay. I'm going to put Gilliam right into the thick of it here with his iron sword. And we'll put Ephraim right down here in the middle of it. Nothing down here, so that way's clear. I guess they're all coming from the other side instead. Is that just about everything? That just leaves Erica. Yep, we're good to go. So hopefully Ross, with his newfound restored health, doesn't get murderized by all these people. He's already getting hit, though. Not off to a great start. He's not in range of Reeve to hit him, though, so that's fine. Thankfully, he picked up an extra point of defense and res, so he'll be a little more tanky, but as important as 1 point is for a lot of situations, ones like these, not quite so much. Yeah, he's going to get L-fired here. We need to work on people who have some ranged counter abilities. I should just give him a freaking hand axe and let him go to town on these poor sods. Because otherwise, they're just going to start clustering up in here, and we don't need that. Although I don't think that other ranger can hit him from distance now. So he's going to have to go rely on melee, which is his downside, or his downfall, rather. Man, Ross getting screwed up out here. So, yeah, we're going to pull him back, I think. Swap him out for somebody with some more, well, there you go, some defense and some speed. I might put La Rochelle out there, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. That sounds crazy, but because she's so freaking hard to hit... Ross is level 8 already. Yeah, we'll pull him out just for the time being. We'll get Mulder to heal him up. Now that we don't have to worry about him killing random thieves. I'm glad I left Tana and Garrick down there in the corner, because there's more warriors spawning over there. I was right about the warriors, I just wasn't right about what turn they would be showing up. We are going to send La Rochelle out here. I know it sounds ridiculous, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. At least I like to think I do. Even if she does get hit, it's not going to have to do much damage to her, so... 30 HP doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're impossible to hit, and you've got some defense on top of it, you're a little more reliable in that regard, so... that being said, that Mage Knight is still going to be a problem. There's still nobody over here to contend with, so we're going to pull Ephraim over to this side. And I'm just going to leave Gilliam right there in the way. If anybody wants to get in, they're going to have to go through him. I guess they could sneak around him, but not very easily. You may be wondering, why am I leaving the poor Emperor defenseless? Well, nothing, not Emperor, but Pontiff. Well, nothing's going to get to him. I am choking all the points where people are coming in. They're not getting to him. It's okay. We'll go full on Iron Blade on this warrior here. Now, Tana does have an Axe Reaver, too, which is perfect. That will allow her to decimate this other warrior. And I especially want to do that because these guys are known to pack bows sometimes. This one does not, but... Oh yeah, that'll be enough. Lance through the face. Lance through that face. Strength and speed for Tana. Wonderful. And Rennick will crack open another treasure chest. A bolting tome. That I probably won't be using, but you know what? Those are still fun to have. Alright, everybody's good up there. We just gotta worry about what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill Riev on the last turn, just because, again, I don't want the reinforcements to stop. I'm enjoying the extra experience a little too much. So we're gonna leave Franz right here. Why don't I have him rescue La Rochelle, actually. And then we'll have Erica pick her up and drop her off right here. And then I'll get Erica out of the way, too. Yeah, that should do. And then he's got a hand axe equipped. Yeah, he's fine. And then we will... Who's hurt? Anybody hurt? Erica's down a little tiny bit, but not very much. Why don't I get everybody topped off with Molder just in case? Franz is okay. Yeah, we'll top off Erica real quick. She's a main character. She can do with it. Especially because she's also a prime target for all these enemy characters, so they really want to take out the main people. That's going to be S rank and staves for Molder, I believe. Yep, so we can use the Latona staff once we finally get that thing. I mean, La Rochelle's going to be right behind him there. Nothing for me to kill up here, so... Moving on. Let's see what that Mage Knight does. He's going to go for Franz, which is going to hurt him quite a bit, unfortunately. But he'll retaliate in kind. Unfortunately does not kill him because apparently his skill sucks. Is that the only guy? No, there's more generals. There's nobody showing up over here. Why don't we throw a javelin at him instead, get a little extra hit rate out of him. That'll do. That'll be a level up for Franz, too. Yeah, his skill's only 15. I thought it was higher than that. Well, now it's 16. Franz is turning out, sadly, not quite as good as I wanted him to. I mean, he's not bad by any case, but he's not the overwhelming powerhouse that I was expecting him to be, which is disappointing to say the least, but what are you gonna... I guess Grey Knight did the same thing that Ephraim does. That looked like a melee spear in his hand, as opposed to a ranged one, even though he's got a ranged one equipped. We'll put Erica out into the corner so she can watch for if anybody else shows up down here. Except right next to Riev, I guess. And we'll make sure we've got everybody in station with what to pulverize his face when the time comes. We'll send Ross over here. We don't need him. But I will leave Molder around to heal everybody. Including... Oh, Franz already got healed. Well, we'll heal up Ephraim, too. Just for a little extra XP. So that might have actually been the majority of the enemy units that come from this direction. And we'll get some extra XP for Tethys. Never a bad idea. And we'll deal with these silly generals because I've got a hammer with which to do that. Garrick is absolutely amazing. That's going to be, what, level 3 for him? Level 3. Alright, strength and luck. More HP, too. Garrick is like a non-armored freaking general at this point. Give me a crit, please. There you go. Just enough to take him out. She hasn't used Pierce yet, which is disappointing, but I guess I really... Nobody's used their personal skills yet, which stinks. But what are you going to do? That music you're hearing means that Riev is the last unit on the board. So I guess everybody stopped spawning from up here, too. What did I just grab? I don't remember. That's alright. Can't have been that important. I wasn't paying attention. That's okay. We got 2 more turns. Doesn't look like... Oh, never mind. We got a couple warriors spawning. That's fine. We'll deal with them very quickly. I guess Garrick and Tana did get a chance to kill some things this chapter. I was afraid they wouldn't get enough action. And we're going to go ahead and open up the last chest. And then next turn will be the last turn. So we will take out Riev then. And that will be it for this chapter. There's Pierce. It looks cool, but it's a lot less impressive than it is, unfortunately. It's like Luna from Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, that kind of deal. Yep, Riev's still the last unit. There's a Fortify staff. I love that thing. That's definitely going to be used later on. Alright. You know what? Just because I can, I think it's important to point out there actually is a secret shop on this map. This is the last one that has one. It's right here. In this little dead-end hallway that goes nowhere. So if I could get Rennick over there, I could get into the secret shop, but there's nothing in there that I need, so it's mostly just promotion items, as is usual. But I digress. Anyway, so last turn, nothing else spawned. So it's just Riev left. He has an Aura Tome that he will drop when I kill him, which is nifty. Who needs that? Who needs some level experience here? I guess Franz does, but Franz is going to get wrecked. Yeah, because he has no luck either. That's 19 crit on that thing. Aura already has a 15% crit built in. So you need someone with a lot of luck to avoid getting killed by it. I think Erica could be fine for that. Yeah, even if she can't get crit. She has the Hoplon Guard, doesn't she? Yeah, she does. Never mind. It wouldn't matter. So we're going to give her Sieglind and wreck this poor fool in the face. I could just use the Rapier, I guess. Nah, I want to finish him off quickly. So we're going to use Sieglind on him, which I know is legendary, but it's fine because he's the last general and he's worth it. So let's do this. And this is the music you hear when you use one of the Sacred Twins, I believe. Maybe it's just against him, I'm not sure. So even against our main character, he just has a generic line of dialogue to say in battle. Mostly because he's a wuss. Ow. Alright. So he's down to 3 hit points. I think we can adequately deal with him now. In fact, what I'm going to do is trade that Hoplon Guard over to Franz. So now he can't be critical hit. And I'm going to throw an axe at Riev's face. And that'll be the end of him. Yep, you can definitely tell that was the Sacred Twin music because this one's different. It's just generic boss music, so... by the way, Riev does not actually die. He retreats from this battle, so that's not the last we're going to see of him. But now he goes to his true master, that being the Demon King, not Grotto. He never actually fought for Grotto. He was just a tool of the Demon King. Nice level up for Franz there. So Riev is gone. We got his Aura Tome. That's nifty. And the chapter is over. Victory is ours. Yes, yes it is. Huh. La Rochelle seems flustered by something. And here we have the last remaining sacred stone, the Stone of Rouston. Well, there is that. What happened to you taking a nap? Darkling Woods, where the Demon King fell. So that's where we're headed next, I believe. Ah, what are we getting? Yes, the last of the Sacred Twin relics. We finally get the last ones. The weapons of Saint Latona, most holy father of Rouston. Glorious Ivaldi, and its twin, the divine staff of Latona. And some more money, because money is great. So we get Ivaldi, which is the highest ranking light magic tome, and Latona, which is an awesome staff, with only 3 uses, sadly, but it restores all HP as well as all ally status conditions in range. And the range is your magic stat. So you put that on a bishop or a mage knight, 25 squares away from you, everybody's fully healed, and all their status afflictions are gone. It requires S rank and staves to use, and it's only got 3 uses, but dang is that ever awesome. And that'll come in handy for the last chapter, too. And Ivaldi is super great. Only weighs 10 for a light tome, meaning that Molder the Boulder can use it without any speed loss at all. 17 might, plus 5 defense. So good. So, so good. And we get some extra cash, which is always fun. When the world needs saving, we can make the odd exception. Well, it's funny that you say that. None who enter its borders ever leave again. We should stock up on supplies. Yes, that's a great plan. And I fully intend to do that. So let's get into it. Oh yeah, some of the green units survived. Ooh, take this sword. What sword shall we get? Ooh, a light brand. Nice. That's awesome. I could use that for the last couple of chapters. This is a long-range sword. And by long-range, I of course mean 1 to 2, but it's one of only 2 ranged swords in the game. Alright, so that was Chapter 19. That was one of my favorite chapters in this game, if not my favorite chapter of the game. And moving on, there are only 2 chapters left. There is Chapter 20, which is next. That is going to be taking place in Darkling Woods. And then after that is the final chapter. So not much longer to go, ladies and gentlemen. We will press on, and we will finish this up, hopefully, very quickly. So that being said, we're going to stop here for right now. But thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. So until then, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.